Hey guys, it's John54 here, and I got another movie review for you guys today. Probably going to be my last movie review of the year, because 2016 is over in 4 days. But yeah, so today I'm going to be doing a movie review on Why Him. Now, I saw this movie on Christmas Eve. I know that, because I said that in my Rogue One review, which was up on Christmas Day. I'm sorry about that. I meant to get it up on the 23rd. But I think on the 23rd, I think that was when I finally filmed the scenes for the skit that I did. But yeah, so I'm gonna be doing a review on Why Him. This review, I didn't want this review to come out as late as it did, but whatever. So anyway, I'm just gonna get started. Now, the movie's directed by John Hamburg, who was also the director of the movies Along Came Polly and I Love You Man. I have not seen either of those, though. And he also wrote the screenplay for Zoolander and the first two Meet the Parents films. And he also wrote Little Fockers and Zoolander 2. So yeah, it was directed by John Hamburg, and it stars Zoe Dutch as Stephanie, James Franco as Laird, Bryan Cranston as Ned, Megan Mullally, I think that's how you pronounce her last name, as Barb, Zach Perlman as Kevin, and Griffin Gluck as Scotty. Now, essentially what the movie's about is Zoe Dutch plays like this girl who she's dating this guy who's pretty famous, played by James Franco, and she invites her, the rest of her family, so her dad, her mom, and her little brother, down to California to meet him and get acquainted with them. And but also in the process, Bryan Cranston's printing company is not doing too well, and Griffin Gluck, who plays his son, he feels like he has some really good ideas for the company, but he doesn't really feel like his dad appreciates him very much. But that's not really a huge plot point. But mainly it's James Franco trying to get Bryan Cranston to like him. And that's one of the main plot points, and then the other main one is Bryan Cranston and his company. And there's also a few other plot points, but I'm not going to get into those because I really don't want this review to be too long. How many times have I adjusted my glasses already? But anyway, now I was really excited for this movie because I thought the trailers looked really funny, but honestly, I thought this movie from the trailers, I thought it was just going to be another Daddy's Home. And that's exactly what it was. A fun, harmless comedy to really end off the year on a good note. Because holy crap, this movie was so much funnier than I was expecting. James Franco, this is James Franco's best performance since Spring Breakers, and he was amazing in Spring Breakers. He was so funny in this movie. You really expect him to be such a douchebag and have him not really care about much, but that's not his character in this at all. He's actually he's not trying to be rude in any way, and that that's what I love about it. And yes, the characters are all great. I loved Griffin Gluck as the little brother because he was in Middle School, The Worst Years of My Life as Rafe. And he was also in Just Go With It as Jennifer Aniston's son, although he looked a lot younger then. But, yeah, so let me just say, this movie's absolutely hilarious. And if you want a good movie to really laugh at and have a good time, sure, it's predictable, but you're gonna laugh. Don't get me wrong, you will laugh, and you're gonna have a good time with this movie, I assume. Because the people in the theater were laughing so hard, and so was I. My only real complaint with this movie is the jokes aren't as consistent in the second half of the movie, but there's two parts in the second half that really stand out, that were really funny. But I'm not going to get into them because I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, so as I said, the only real complaint is that in the second half the jokes aren't as consistent, But don't worry, this movie is absolutely hilarious. Really, really good. Um, and also, an interesting fact about it, Jonah Hill wrote and produced it, and Ben Stiller also produced it with him, which was actually pretty cool. Now the thing is, I feel like this movie, though, is gonna be that one typical movie that a lot of parents are gonna take their kids to see, like, as a family. I feel like a lot of families are gonna go to this movie and then quickly realize it's not a family movie. Like, Daddy's Home is a perfect family movie. I mean, sure, there's, like, a couple, off-color things in it, but, like, you know, Daddy's Home is like a fine family film. This is not a family film by any means, just from the opening scene alone. It is not a family film. I mean, I went with my parents to see it because, you know, I'm a bit older, but also one thing that's funny is because, there's one part in this movie where, James Franco asks, Griffin Gluck if he's seen The Revenant, and then Griffin Gluck's like, well, I wanted to, but my parents wouldn't let me watch R-rated movies. And then she's like, absolutely not, he's 15. And I'm like, I'm 15 years old and I'm seeing this movie right now. But, yeah, so guys, if you want a really good time, if you want a predictable but a fun, harmless, and really funny comedy to end off the year on a good note, go see Why Him. You will not be disappointed. Guys, Why Him gets a B+. I just can't express how surprised I was with this and how, you know, how much I was laughing. Again, in the second half, the jokes aren't as consistent, but there's enough funny moments in the film itself for you to enjoy it. And also, one thing I must add, one of the best musical scenes since This Is the End. I think This Is the End might be just a little bit better. Well, actually, no, they're equally as good as each other, and this one might actually be a little bit better. One of the best musical scenes since This Is the End. I'm not going to say what it is, but when you figure out what it is, you are going to laugh so hard. Anyway, guys, that's all for this review. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this review. If you've seen the movie, let me know what your thoughts are on it. Subscribe for more content, and also stay tuned for New Year's Eve for my best movies of the year. I'm making a top 10 list of only movies from this year. I'm not doing movies that weren't from this year that I just saw this year. Because, like, you know, I'm gonna probably make a whole separate video talking about those. And stay tuned for December 30th, which is gonna be my worst movies of the year. But those are gonna be movies from this year, and also movies that I saw this year that weren't from this year, because I haven't seen very many bad movies this year. But yeah, so stay tuned on December 30th for the worst movies I saw this year, and then stay tuned on New Year's Eve for the best movies I saw this year, which the list is definitely still going to need to be worked out. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Again, subscribe for more content. If you've seen the movie, let me know what your thoughts are on it below. And remember, you guys, whenever introducing your boyfriend to your dad, say no to drugs.